No rain that morning, for once. Just cold autumn light coming through the frost on the window, thin as a bad excuse. The radiator ticked like a clock that had given up keeping time, and the dust hung in the sun without the good sense to settle. A quiet office. In my experience, quiet is what the trouble wears when it wants to look respectable.
Morning, sunshine. Before you reach for the drawer, and you will, you've got a city man coming at noon. Dale's already read the card, so you don't have to squint at it.
A city man. What flavor this time, Dale?
A license examiner. Routine review of your operating permit. Everything in order. Everything by the book. His book. See, this is what all that good work bought you. You got so good at the job that the machine finally learned your address. Now it wants to come by and admire the door.
A permit review. 24 cases, and the thing that finds me is a filing clerk with a rubber stamp.
That's how they get you. Not with a gun. With an appointment. And it's not the only one. There's a woman been sitting in the outer chair since 8. Won't give a name. Says the reporter sent her. Says you'd know the paper. He's telephoned twice already, wanting to know she got here.
So there it was, laid out on the blotter like a hand I hadn't asked to be dealt. A city man at noon to look my whole life over and find it in order. A woman in the next room sent on the reporter's word, waiting on a chair while the frost burned off the glass. And the machine, patient as ever, learning my hours. I've spent 24 cases keeping my door hard to find. This was the morning it stopped being hard. Flynn ran his stories off a newsstand on 3rd, where the bound-back issues went yellow, and the wet papers curled like they were trying to get out of the rain. He was the fastest man with a fact I knew. I hadn't come to him with an angle. I'd come with a widow and 2 kids and a clock.
Detective, you've got the face of a man carrying something he doesn't want to set down. Talk to me. What is it?
A family named Farrow. Flynn. Widow, 2 kids, 3rd floor walk-up on Cannery. The relief board's putting them on the street by close of day. Not a debt, not a default. A clerk moved a decimal and their hardship exemption lapsed on paper. That's the whole crime. A pen slipped and it took a home with it.
Then we print it. Tonight. A widow, 2 kids, thrown out over a misplaced decimal since that runs on page 1 and the board folds by breakfast. They always do when the ink's on them. Give me the names and I'll have it set in an hour.
Breakfast is too late. The marshals come at 5. Ink doesn't move that fast, Flynn, and you know it. There's only one thing that reverses a lapsed exemption before the door's chained, and it means filing a correction into the civic record under my own name. My method, my hand, right there in the ledger.
The record the examiner opens tonight, that's what's eating you.
She's not a trick from upstairs, Flynn. She's not a shakedown I can outtalk or a hood I can lean on. She's the machine wearing an honest face, and honest is the one thing I've never learned to beat. I saved the Pharaohs. I hand her my name on a plate she was already setting. Flynn didn't have a line for that one, and Flynn always had a line. Outside, the rain kept its own time, and somewhere on Cannery, a marshal was checking his watch. Every road out of this ended at the same ledger, and by day's end, she'd read exactly what I'd done in my own hand. There was no version where I saved them quiet. I'd braced for a knife. I'd braced for muscle in a good coat, or a dame with a story and a gun in her handbag. What came through my door instead carried a satchel and an umbrella she shook out on the mat so she wouldn't track water. The examiner, straight off the civic roster, and every inch of her exactly what the letter promised.
Good afternoon. You'll be the detective on the Farrow account. I'm the examiner of record. You'd have gotten my notice Tuesday. I won't keep you longer than the work takes.
Sit anywhere the rain hasn't reached. Most people who send a notice ahead want something the notice didn't mention. What's yours?
The ledgers. The disbursements you logged against the Farrow file. The dates. Whose hand signed what. That's all. I'm not here to trade, and I haven't got a favor to sell you. I've got a list of questions and the afternoon to ask them.
I kept waiting for the tell. The pause where the price gets named. The second glance at the drawer. The smile that means we both know better. It never came. She asked plain questions and wrote down plain answers, and every one of them was fair, and every fair one was another line in the case against me. That was the knock, not a frame. A clerk who meant it.
You do careful work. I can see that. It won't save you. Careful is exactly what leaves a record. I'll want the books themselves before I file. Close of day. I'll come back for them then.
Close of day, sure. That's the same hour the marshals walk in on the Pharaohs.
Is it? I wouldn't know their calendar. I only keep my own.
And there it was, the whole shape of it, in a woman shaking rainwater off an umbrella. The man who owns this town never needed to send me a knife. He only needed to send someone honest, with a satchel and a list, and let me hang myself doing right by the Pharaohs. She'd be back at close of day for the ledgers. The trouble was, so would I. And the only way to save them was to finish writing the proof against myself. The relief board keeps its files in a corridor that smells of carbon paper and other people's bad luck. A clerk had moved a decimal, and a decimal in this city can put a family on the sidewalk by morning. The Pharaohs had until the marshals finished their coffee. I had a fountain pen and a bad idea, and Flynn from the Chronicle at my shoulder like a conscience I hadn't hired.
Flynn, Calloway Chronicle, and I want it on the level with you. The exemption's void because a pencil slipped one column. You file a correction over that, you're not slipping it back. You're signing it. Your name, your hand, in a book the examiner reads by the hour.
I know whose hand it is, Flynn. That's the part that makes it work. A stranger's correction they'd kick back for verification. Mine, they'll process. The Pharaohs sleep in their own beds tonight, and the exemption's enforced before anybody in a badge climbs those stairs.
And in an hour, it's not a clerk's mistake anymore. It's you walking into the audit's own ledger on purpose. That machine's been reading every page since the winter. You want me to tell you what a thing like this costs a man who holds a license?
No. I can add, hold the blotter flat, would you? Ink runs on the cheap forms. I put the decimal back where it belonged and my name where it didn't, and I did it slow, so I couldn't pretend later I hadn't meant it. Flynn didn't say a word. He watched me sign the thing you can't unsign. A family safe in their flat, and a fresh line in the civic record with my name at the end of it, waiting on an examiner who reads everything. Some bills you pay when they arrive. This one I'd written out myself and mailed to the one address that always cashes it. I'd been leaned on by every kind of man this city makes. The kind you pay, the kind you outweight, the kind you talk in circles till he forgets what he came for. Then the examiner knocked on my door and she was none of those. She was the one thing I'd never learned to handle. She was fair.
Mr. Flynn, I've read the record from the top. The correction you filed on the Pharaoh matter. It's clean work. It's also a direct breach of the terms your license is held under. You understand I have to say both of those things in the same breath.
I understand it. The Pharaohs are home tonight. That was the price, and I knew the number when I signed it. You don't have to soften it, miss. Read me the part where I lose the door.
Your license lapses as of this filing. The name comes off the glass. There's no penalty beyond that, and no appeal I'd honor, because there's no error to appeal. You did the thing. This is what the thing costs. I take no pleasure in it, and I won't pretend to.
She signed her line, set the paper on the blotter square to the edge, and left the way she came. No threat, no favor, nothing to trade against later, just a woman who'd done her job right. Dale stood in the doorway a long minute after the stairs went quiet.
So that's it. 25 years of good afternoon, and a lady with a fountain pen closes the account in the time it takes to boil coffee. You want the letters scraped off, or should I leave the ghost of them for the next fella?
Scrape it, tonight. I don't want to come in tomorrow and read my own name like it's still true.
There's a razor blade in the bottom drawer, next to the bottle you think I don't know about. I'll do the glass. You hold the lamp, and try not to editorialize.
She worked the blade and I held the light, and the gold came up off the pane in little curls that caught the neon. Every man who'd ever come at me, I'd found the seam, the price, the trick, the long wait. But the machine had finally sent something with no seam in it, an honest one. She'd seen my face now and read it true. And an honest face is the only kind you can't buy, can't fool, and can't outlast. It just comes back, correct? Until the day it's done.